Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. We've got some clear quartz here. Source energy. We have earth, air, wind, fire, water. Calling in the elementals for this video. 11 seconds on the timer. I'm going to give you a smudge and only asking beings of love, light, divine light, divine love, divine truth, divine power, and divine wisdom. Only energies are welcome here in this space always, through unconditional love and for the highest and best. But that doesn't mean the darkness can't slip in. All right, so there's a reason why I'm sitting here doing this video. I had all this other content that I thought I was going to talk about today, 4 on the timer, and it's switched. So there's a reason it's switched, okay? I'm just trying to get the flowers in there and the candle in there. Lit some candles for my ancestors, for my team, for the elementals that have been working with me. All right, so I'm going to put a disclaimer on this, okay? There might be some trigger words in here. This might trigger some of you, but there's always a reason that I'm guided to sit down and hit record and share my personal life experiences on a regular basis. So we're going to make this day 63 of 111 days, sharing my real, raw frequency and energy with you, the beautiful collective. So somebody here needs to hear this message, even if it's just one person. It will reach you, and it is meant to reach you exactly when it's meant to. And it's January 12th, 2026. We are now post the 11 portal that opened up on January 1st. But again, all videos are timeless. 144 on the timer. All videos are timeless. And again, you will receive these videos exactly when you are ready to receive them. You're ready to receive my frequency, my energy, my light, my flavor, my essence, my color, in perfect timing. And again, for your highest and best, always through divine light, divine love, divine truth, divine power, and divine wisdom. This is wild sage incense, by the way. Hyacinths and a pink, okay? 212 on the timer. So getting to the point, just to let you know, there might be some trigger warning on this. Also, again, take what resonates and leave the rest. If you're here, 2 on the timer, if you're here, and again, you might be open to what I'm going to talk about. Again, the past versions of me, the past self when I was asleep might have thought this was beyond. Again, I'm not speaking to your mind and ego. I'm speaking directly to your soul. I'm speaking directly to your field. I'm speaking directly to your heart right now in this present moment. Okay, so just breathe. Inhale. Exhale. To surrender and let it go. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. When you are unaware of the true fact of things that have been taking place on this planet, you are vulnerable. Okay, and again, certain situations can make you vulnerable as well. What do I mean by that? You can be very vulnerable to parasitic, dark, devil-like entities. There's so many different words for them at this point, and there's so many different levels. I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to talk about my experience and what I have learned. So magic is real. Light magic, dark magic. You could be a natural witch, a natural magician, practice with the light, with source energy, with the elementals. Or you could be a dark motherfucker and you're doing it to gain status, to gain money, to gain wealth, to feed off of other people. Energy and frequency. Okay, so if you know, you fucking know. And if not, this is your moment to bring some awareness and some clarity, and to get you even more curious to go check that out. Okay, as everything that happens that I'm like a little in the dark still about, that I go get curious about. So source energy is here, so welcome in source codes. Okay, source codes. Ooh, here we go. Let's try that. All right, source codes. All right. So again, only love and light is welcome in this space. But that doesn't mean that because of things from your past, doesn't mean that certain entities over time could not have become attached to your energetic body. Okay. Remember, you have many layers to this physical body, this physical avatar. Okay. Everything's energy, frequency. Okay. So again, breathe. Shunyata. surrender and let it go. So last year about this time, I was going through a lot, transitioning, transforming, awakening. Maybe that'll be a whole complete video another day, but I'm going to try and keep this short because I got to get the kid from school. And I tend to ramble in the best way possible, in the most beautiful way possible, in the most messy, magical way possible. So again, you might resonate with that. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for clicking play and getting curious and co-creating this with me and sharing this out with the collective that is needing to hear this information. So last year, about this time, about March, February, I went to a cacao ceremony, which basically triggered an awakening of my inner child needing to be healed. Okay, we'll just keep it there. In March, I was really guided for the first time ever. I've been in the metaphysicals, in massage, receiving massage, different type of, sound bath therapy, different things like that, different type of yoga practices to help with energy work, but not like Reiki. For some reason, up until that point, Reiki wasn't in my awareness that it was a necessity for my healing, for my awakening. Okay, so I had many Reiki sessions in a period between like March and April or May or something like that. Again, I lose track of time because time doesn't really exist. And during that period of time, I had the initial session, which was basically to help like kind of just realign and reattune my chakras and some just general stuff. I had some throat chakra, I had veils, I had blocks. Okay. But there's lots of work that needed to be done. So I think I had another session or two, I don't remember, in between that. But the last session that I had up until today, outside of doing Reiki share class and becoming a certified Reiki practitioner myself, because I was called to, and it's a remembrance of, again, gifts and abilities that I used in past lives. Okay. So the last session I had with her, she's an amazing practitioner. Was my teacher. She also facilitates once a month a Reiki share group, which we get together so we're able to practice on each other. It's really fun to be able to keep if you don't have a regular practice, it's a good way to keep you tuned up, I guess. That's the word I want to say. On that last session, she had removed a very dark entity attachment that had been with me since childhood, which is not a surprise. And a lot of the stuff that I experienced was, again, past life trauma, generational stuff that was being excused, removed, sent back to source to be transmuted back into unconditional love and light. That's what it is. That's only what is allowed into this session, right? It's basically working with source energy, and the practitioner is giving space for you to be able to do the healing, working with source and your spiritual team, her team and the client's team, to help facilitate and open up space for healing to take place. So the practitioner isn't doing the healing, it's giving space, creating space, and being a tool, being a vessel, the hollow bone to channel source energy. It's channeling healing energy. Okay, again, take what resonates and leave what does not. Okay, 844 on the timer. Breathe. So this last session, then there was a lot of emotional, again, continuing just on the beginning of doing the inner child work in last year at the beginning of the year when I had this last. So basically that last session I had with her is what I call an emergency session. I was literally driving down the road, starting to slowly listen to more to those intuitive calls. I already had a session or two. In April is when I was taking the course to become certified. And I literally called up and said, if there's a session available, I'm going to take it. 922 on the timer. And as the universe lines it up, I was listening to an intuitive nudge to you need to go do this. And that's when I called up, and it was basically what I call an emergency Reiki session. So went in, and that's where this dark entity that had been attached to me since childhood was being removed, and some other things took place, but I'm just going to keep it to those aspects, not going into great detail. Anyways, again, become certified, been practicing, doing the Reiki share basically every month since then. Okay. I don't have clients that I practice with right now. Eventually I will be doing something along that line. I already know that. I just don't know how, and I'm not worried about the how. The how will happen when it's supposed to happen and when and all of that. So I'm not worried about that. So today I've been dealing, like I said, with this upper back pain, tension, tightness, like this is like, and I did some light language on that, last week and things like that to help. Again, it's just to help facilitate, and it's a frequency and an energy to help kind of like shake that loose, shake whatever's needing to be shaken loose. And basically in this session, what came through like instantly, which she said normally comes confirmation, what came in instantly at the beginning, which she said normally doesn't come until the end of the session. First she says, I'm glad you came. So today was basically an emergency session. She said, I'm glad you came in. So the funny thing, how that came in, I did a short video, and if you didn't see that video already, it was basically during my workout. I'm going to say hello, source codes. Low quartz there for an extra healing energy here. Welcome in. Source code. So what happened, what was magical this morning is I was working out. I didn't work out. My workouts have been very light during this healing process, this entire year and plus months, whatever it is at this point. It's been a process. And I'm like, I think I need to check. I hadn't really felt the nudge or intuitive, like I think I need to go get some Reiki done. Like I need to call and see what's available today, tomorrow, like soon. And so I called, like when I finished my workout, and everything was booked, like booked up until like next week. I'm like, all right. And I'm at this point where it's like I said, just go with the flow. The universe will provide what I need, when I need it, how I need it, in perfect, magic, miraculous ways, as it does. And so today, here's your proof. 12:02 on the timer. The proof today. Proof is in the pudding. Again, you can't make this shit up. Finish my workout, go take a shower, phone call. 12:12 on the timer. The wellness store calls back up. And, I know them really well. They're part of my soul family. I love them dearly. And she's laughing. She goes, I had to call you. I said, what slot opened up? So someone had canceled. We're laughing. I said, you can't make this shit up. We're laughing. I said, the universe is just so perfect and so magical and miraculous and manifested. I was already like getting the intuitive nudge. I took the step, but that now self at 10:03 wasn't ready to schedule the appointment. The person I was at 10:44 was, or whatever the universe had to do in that time frame, 45 minutes to move and shift, was miraculous. So somebody decided to either move their appointment or cancel their appointment for whatever reason. And so this opened up, and we're laughing about, and I said, well, what time is open? She said 11:45. I said, put me down. I did a 45, so you can get 30, 45, or 60-minute sessions. And I went with the middle. I said, let's do 11:45 for 45 minutes. Like, that's what felt like the right 13:23 on the timer. And please pay attention to the numbers. There's a reason I'm calling them out, so please look into those. There's messages there. There's key codes. There's information in there. Okay. And so we just laugh, and so much fun, like happy, happy, joy, joy, woohoo, I like, oh, baby, baby, like that type of vibe. Like I was really low energy this morning. I did whatever work I did last night in the astral, in the realms, as I do, and I'm just exhausted. And, part of what I think what took place might be that we'll see how sleep is. All right. And again, I don't look at anything as a bad thing. I look at it as just it's part of my journey. It's part of my training. Again, it's part of the boot camp. Okay. If you know, you know. If you resonate, you resonate. If you don't, you never made it this far. You've clicked off right now. And so I went in, we had the session. So this was basically another emergency Reiki session because I was listening to my higher self, source, the universe, the intuitive knowing, the nudging that I needed to have this done. Again, to maybe help with this upper back, that wasn't like the main reason, but I was like, oh, let's just again go in and have some energy work. Because it's good as an energy practitioner to have other assistance from other practitioners. So don't be all up high on your high up in your crown, or Shanyata, high up on your throne, to think that because you're a practitioner, you don't need, you need help. Practitioners need practitioners, okay? Because you are doing huge heavy lifting. You're doing a lot of work when you're working in the energy practitioner field. 15 on the timer. Thank you. So you need someone to assist you, whether you're getting shamanic work, shamanic healing, clearing, more Reiki, different sound bowl therapies, whatever it is, you need a facilitator to help with the facilitator. Okay, it's just the way it just is a great energetic hygiene practice to do. Okay, and everything is in perfect timing, so everything unfolds as it unfolds. And what came in instantly, she said, was a golden white triangle, pyramid came over and encompassed my entire body. All right, so that might be in resonance. And she said usually what was removed doesn't come up until the end of the session, but this came up at the beginning of the session because it needed to be removed right now. It was time for it to be removed. And she said the reason why I was experiencing this upper back pain, tension, tightness, locked up type of feeling, and again, I've not been doing anything. I've been resting a lot, doing the stuff, doing the practices. And she goes, you had a false light entity posing as a guide, as a worker of the light, attached, literally hooks in. So you know what a parasite is, because there are energetic parasites and there are living parasites in all ways, shapes, and forms, and all different levels. Take what resonates, leaves what does not. And again, the shit is real. So this is me just bringing awareness to you if you've never heard of this. And I've been familiar of this, again, through my education and through my team bringing all these things to my awareness, and me getting curious and doing more information and going down and gaining more knowledge. Right? Knowledge is power. Wisdom, power. All right. There was a dark, and this was the first time. So I had this thing removed last year that had been attached to me since childhood. That was blocking. And again, these are sent to me and attached because it's to distract, to create chaos, to create destruction, to create blocks, to create your manifestations from not coming. It creates havoc, basically, in subtle, quiet ways. Sometimes big ways as well. But basically, that needed to go. She didn't ask how long it had been there, so we don't know how long. I mean, I can tap into my team and see if I get any confirmation. I've already set that, intention to receive information on however that, whether I get it through a video or like audience or some way. But it was attached, and it was a false light entity posing as a guide, like one of my guides, a being of light that works with me. And I have a pretty big team. And I'm like, oh, that's, that makes sense. It's resonance. Again, take what resonates. Take what resonates. It's not like I'm trying to make this fit, and it's not woo-woo and it's not delulu. It's real shit. It is. It's real shit. And she said there was still more stuff that needed to be removed. We only had 45 minutes, but just again, reattuned my chakra system, because that's attached to a chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, and solar plexus. So I don't know where it was actually attached, but definitely attached. And basically, again, to create destruction, chaos, distractions, all of the stuff that the dark does for people of light. And again, you're not a target just because your target, it's like when people say thieves don't go into homes that have nothing, that have no value or worth. So there's a reason. And again, it's part of the training, it's part of the process. So it's you got to kind of have that higher perspective, taking the eagle's perspective. So I was like, oh, okay, good. Knowledge is power. It's gone. It's time to go. It was time to go. She says, I'm so glad you came in today. And I said, me too. Thank goodness I listened to my intuition. And so much gratitude and appreciation to Source, to the universe, to my team to help move things out so I could have this taken care of today. So there's a reason why it needed to be taken care of today. I don't completely know that reason yet, but again, that puzzle and that information will be given to me, that clarity will be given to me when I'm ready to receive the clarification of the why. I don't get too overly concerned on that. It's a waste of my energy. I don't need to worry about that. The past versions of myself would maybe kind of waste a little extra energy that was unnecessary at the time. Other things came in for me personally, a lot of swirling energies, colors, frequencies, energies, a lot of energy moving. My spirit animals came in. I picked up on eagle, fox, and wolves, butterfly. And so all there's significance to them, my spirit team with the animal kingdom. She said there was also some subconscious stuff coming up with not wanting to become like my parents. And we're going to get to the trigger point here in a second, because I haven't got there yet for a reason, I guess. To maybe for those that reach this point and to the end will receive that information. And there's some generational stuff that came up on the paternal, which is the father, I believe, is paternal. 3 to 4 generations back of lack, of bitterness, of anger, of hurt, disappointment, different type of programmings, conditionings, thought forms, all of that stuff also had to kind of be released. And then these were subconscious. Again, I know I'm a generational course breaker, so that, again, not a surprise that needed to be cleared out with some assistance. And then just, again, attunement and realignment of the chakra systems for the time she had. And again, she said, we'll see how this feels. Again, we'll do Reiki share tomorrow, because I'll get a little bit of Reiki tomorrow from the group. And then see how the back feels. And if I need more work, I can see her if I can't clear it myself. Because I know how to work with energy myself. So again, sometimes if I can't clear it myself, that's why I was called to do this now. Now, the reason these entities and energies in these blocks and why I have been energetically attacked my entire life is because I don't know what age it started. Again, trigger point warning again. 2210 on the timer. I was very young. I have very minimal memories for a reason. I was sexually abused, horrifically, mentally, physically, and emotionally and spiritually abused from a very, very young age. Like, I don't know from birth, like, I don't know if it was after 2, but definitely shortly after birth. Like, again, somebody in the collective is receiving this message because you resonate and you land in this category. So these are how these, at such a young age, when you are so vulnerable and you are just nothing but light and love, you are completely open. And that's why I'm trying to find the right words, so please just hang with me. Luciferian type energies attack star beings, stars, at a very young age for long periods of time, because it makes you completely susceptible and to be open to have these attachments placed for specific reasons to, again, create chaos, havoc, destruction, distractions, all of the stuff as you progress through life, and to keep you from being able to step into your power, because they know, basically they have read your Akashics, they know what you are becoming, what you are, and what you're supposed to be doing when you step into your full soul's purpose. Does that make sense? Does that resonate? Okay. So it does not surprise me that when she told me last year that I had that attached, because I've been completely, and I did, because of all of the abuse, I also self-abused in ways throughout my life without knowing, like all the things I know now. So I don't know when this specific false like entity attached itself to me, and it could have attached to me also, which is coming through right now. Thank you, Spirit. Is when you work in the astral realms, that's why it's really good to be really good about your spiritual hygiene. It could have attached while I was doing work in the astral realms or the higher realms. Right, you're just toned really high. So these entities can attach to you when you return to your physical body, like, so, because we all astral travel. So, and a lot of us do work in helping facilitate the moving of certain energies and entities back to the light, okay? Whether you realize that or not. And again, this might not resonate with you, and it may. So it could potentially have attached there. It could have attached at a time in my life where I was more vulnerable and open and unaware, and had the knowledge of how to do the healing, how to do the spiritual hygiene, how to protect and guard up. Now again, you're always protected, guided, and shielded. And if you are that star that has a purpose and you have a certain frequency and energy that is meant for the collective, especially right now as we're transitioning, there's no surprise that you have been and have gone through everything you have gone through. There is a purpose. So please understand that there is a purpose. And if you are triggered with all of the emotions, feel the emotions, work through the emotions, surrender the emotions, let them go, choose to forgive, choose to let them go, and it'll be released accordingly. Okay, so somebody needed to hear this today. There's no coincidence that I'm sitting here having this conversation right here, right now, when I had a whole other plan in mind for this time right now. There's no coincidence, okay? Sources shine in here to let you know you are shielded. I'm going to try not to cry. Whew. You are heavily protected. You are heavily veiled for a reason. But everything that you have been through has been not for nothing, okay? You are so deeply loved, unconditionally. You're deeply protected and shielded and guided always. So just know that everything happens for a reason. And now that I have awareness that this was there and there's still some stuff that needs to kind of go, I can work on it myself. And if I'm not able to clear it myself, then I will go back in and get assistance from a practitioner. Okay, so we're just going to breathe. So just know that if you've had moments in your life where you've endured massive amounts, or if you, because of that, then because of all the abuse, then you self-abuse in certain ways in other parts of your life, it leaves you open and vulnerable. Okay, so that's why knowledge is power. Being awake and aware is super important, because when you're awake and aware, it gives less opportunities for you to be open to things like parasites in general, but energetic parasites, entities, and again, false light beings to attach to you, to attach to your physical body and attach to your field and your 12 bodies outside of your physical body. Because it, you know, even though it gets attached out here, I could feel it here or feel it here or feel it, you know, in other places. I've had this hip issue too, so I don't know if there's a correlation there. So we'll see how I feel in the next few days and then moving forward. All right, so again, this is just an awareness bringing conversation. I'm going to look into the false like entities and energies and all of that as well, just to get a little more information, education, guidance, clarification, all of the stuff. And again, do it through resonance. Ask for it. I've already set that intention for that to be received to me for my highest and best good through unconditional love, divine light, divine love, divine truth, divine wisdom, divine power, and divine knowledge, and that I only receive information that is for my highest and best good. Okay, so because I am aware of this, I'm assuming that this as attached to me before my awakening process, and maybe that, again, as part of the slowing down, the creating the chaos, all of that has been why this process. And again, it's not for naught, right? There's always a reason. You have to take that higher perspective. I try not to say the what if or the what were, all of that shit. I am right now, and this is what it is, and that's what happened, and this is what happened, so it's gone now. We're good. Now we just move forward. Does that make sense? Somebody really needed to hear this. And I asked Source again, I asked the spirit guides, the angels, the ancestors of unconditional love and light, that this is reaching those that is meant to reach now, right now in this now present moment, for their highest and best good, through divine light, divine love, divine truth, divine power, and divine wisdom. And from my heart to you, beautiful souls, I see you, I feel you, and I know you, because I am you. You are me. We are we. And we are in this together. And nothing is going to stop this. They may have slowed us down a little bit, but it is not stopping. There's so much forward momentum energy right now. I can't even express it in my human language. Can you feel it? Do you remember? Can you feel it, and do you remember? You are extremely, deeply loved and immensely celebrated, highly protected and guided always. I love you. I see you. And I'll see you on the next one.